Hello everyone. Good evening. Hope you and your loved ones are doing fine. My name is Akash Roy and I'm a cloud engineer at IFI Techsolutions. For today's webinar, I'll be accompanied by Vikas Kumawat, who is a senior cloud consultant at IFI Techsolutions. So in today's webinar, we'll be covering about the Azure Cognitive Services. Before we get started with Azure Cognitive Services, I will be introducing my organization, IFI Techsolutions, to you. IFI Techsolutions is Microsoft Cloud Gold Partner and 2020 Microsoft Partner of the Year finalist. The major vision is to help enterprise and SMBs with digital transformation. Within the 6 years of time span, we have delivered around 300 plus projects and we have 23 plus customers across the globe. And we have almost migrated around 3,000 plus servers from different cloud service providers like AWS, spending around more than 36,000 consulting hours. Now, let us look at the agenda for today's webinar. Today, we'll be discussing on what Azure Cognitive Services are, where we will be giving you a brief introduction to the service. Next will be why one should choose Azure Cognitive Services and what will be the advantage if you use this service for your business needs. Now, there are around 34 types of cognitive services, all under different subcategories. We will have an in-depth look into this service in the later slides. Finally, we have some fun demo for you to all to try the service firsthand and see how it works. Then we will show you all the requirement for the Azure Cognitive Services and hope it inspires you. Now, what exactly is Azure Cognitive Services? Azure Cognitive Services is a comprehensive family of AI services that helps you build intelligent software applications. These are basically just APIs. All these APIs are pre-built, and by pre-built, what we are trying to imply is that when the need occurs for you to use the service, instead of building everything from the scratch or having the need of a data scientist or the statistical knowledge, one can simply just call the API, which will give you the intelligence, and you can infuse the API into your applications. Cognitive APIs are bifurcated into 4 different categories. They are vision, speech, language, and knowledge. The goal of Azure Cognitive Services is to help developers create applications that can see, hear, speak, understand, and even begin to reason. Now, out of all these categories, vision and speech are the perceptive services, where the API takes the input through envision or recognition, whereas language and knowledge are the comprehension-based services. Here, the API takes the input through one's intellect. Anything that the APIs provide the output for are cross-referenced to an already provided data. We will take an in-depth look regarding this in the upcoming slides. Now, the main goal of AI is to attain human parity, which is basically trying to achieve or look at something and analyze it in the same way as humans do. Let us take a look at how far the cognitive capabilities have come over the years in terms of human parity. Object detection. We often see drones flying near the border or hovering over the city, capturing images and analyzing it. Now, the role of the drones there is to check if the people there are carrying anything that they're not supposed to, like guns or anything harmful. They analyze everything they capture. So a camera eye can capture and analyze the image the same way a human is supposed to do. These are also very important in traffic management system, where you can use these drones to check if any two-wheeler rider is abiding by the laws or not, such as wearing a helmet, driving in the mentioned speed limit, or even breaking a traffic light. The same camera eye mechanism can be used for students in the exam hall to check if any student is carrying the cell phones or not. So in 2016, object detection received human parity. Next is speech recognition. Now, based on the current scenario of the global pandemic, people will refrain themselves from touching anything and would take extreme measures to avoid contact. So speech recognition can help in this scenario. Speech recognition or speaker recognition, which is determining who is speaking, allows the API to take orders or commands from you and perform the asked task, letting the user know once the task is completed. Now, if someone is driving and they come across an important text, at that time, speech recognition can read out the message without the driver distracting themselves from the road. Another good example is the Google Assistant, which recognizes the user once the user says, "OK, Google." At this point, anything said by the user is analyzed by the assistant and responds back with the output. So in 2017, speech recognition attained human parity. Next up is reading comprehension. Now, in reading comprehension, accessibility plays an important role. Imagine if someone goes to a restaurant and would like the menu to be read out automatically instead of going through the entire menu page by page. This is actually more beneficial to people who are visually impaired. So in 2018, reading comprehension attained human parity. And this was confirmed by giving the machines a bunch of text from squad reading comprehension, and the machine was able to read out the text quite clearly, with preciseness and minimal error. In 2018, machine translation also attained the human parity. As of now, there are approximately 6,500 languages, and there are around 60 languages that a machine can understand. Very few human beings can remember more than five languages. Now, machine translation is built for business. Translator is a proven, customizable, and scalable technology for machine translation. Now, translation removes that language barrier as you can anytime at a click of a button translate the text that has been given to your desired language. Speech synthesis. Sometimes for the people who are differently abled or are more comfortable with voice commands, at a click of a button can read through the entire instructions. Now, some people might prefer having the robot dictate the instructions to you rather than them following the entire instructions one by one and following them. The speech service is a unification of speech to text, text to speech translation into a single Azure subscription. It is easy to speech enable your applications, tools, and devices with the Speech CLI, Speech SDK, Speech Devices SDK, Speech Studio, or REST APIs. Now, lastly, conversational Q&A. Now, up until now, the main objective was to use our sense organs. But in this scenario, what we try to convey may not be grasped easily by the machine and can have trouble in understanding what we are trying to convey and vice versa. That's where intent or language understanding comes into the picture, which can be provided using the Q&A bot maker or Louise. Someone trying to say hello or namaste should be understood by the bot as a greeting, and in response, the bot should respond back with a greeting. Now, recently in the year 2020, we have seen document summary also attain human parity. Now, imagine if you have thousands of pages of data that you want it summarized. Instead of having someone go through the entire data page by page and data by data, what we can do is we can just use the document summary API and provide them with the entire data, and the API will summarize it for you. Now, why is it necessary to have an Azure AI in the organization? Azure AI helps build mission-critical solutions that can analyze image, comprehend speech, make predictions using data, and imitate other intelligent human behaviors, all using Azure AI. Only Azure AI gives you the combined ability to develop AI solutions on your terms and build AI into mission-critical applications. Now, as an example of how the AI solutions have been used, we have all been using the Teams application to take up calls and meetings. Now, about 1.8 million hours of meeting have been transcribed in real time. You can enable the live captioning and it will convert the voice to text. We have all used PowerPoint to submit our presentations. The use of AI and cognitive services allow you to design the PowerPoint slides with much more efficiently and with ease, with the design recommendations provided while creating the slide. Now, if you have an Xbox gaming console, you can check for the personalized experience and suggestions received in your in your inbox daily. Now, these suggestions depend upon the games you are trying to play or the games you have even searched in the Xbox console. Now, most of the leading brands around the world run on Azure. Around 95% of the Fortune 500 companies are using Azure, and not just Azure, but also Azure AI. And there are a lot of investment going into AI security for this reason. Now, Azure Cognitive Services is proactive, which means it doesn't matter if your interests lie in the database or the developer tools, if you're a website developer or using it for commute. You can use the AI services for every scenario, for every kind of users. Now, it doesn't matter if you want to use this on Windows, Android, or even an iPhone. If irrespective of the kind of language you're using, the APIs are compatible with most of them and can be integrated with ease. The cognitive APIs are optimized to work at any scale provided to them, irrespective of the system of processes available, with more than 15 plus general available services across more than 28 regions worldwide. Cognitive services are trusted, which means you control and own your own data. With more than 70 plus certifications and 90 plus compliance offering, it becomes more easy for Azure Cognitive Services to be HIPAA compliant or SOC compliant on the cloud than on-prem. Now, why choose Azure Cognitive Services? Since they are all APIs, you can basically build your first AI services to achieve human parity with much more ease and confidence. In order to do so, you don't require any machine learning capabilities or any need for data scientists or statistical knowledge. All you have to do is just call the API, integrate it, and it will give you the intelligence since they're all pre-built. Now, you can deploy the cognitive services from anywhere, which means that if you have an API, you can either use it to infuse with your code either on cloud or on your local system. Either way, the experience you'll be getting on both the platforms will be same. Now, there are multiple APIs provided which can be used for different purposes. So based on the specificity of the business needs, the corresponding API can be used. The catalog of services within Azure Cognitive Services are categorized into 5 main pillars: vision, speech, language, web search, and decision. Now we will take a look into the types of cognitive services and will present a short demo on the subtopics so that it is easy to understand what the cognitive services has to offer. Now, to understand the underlying API and its functionality, let us take a look into Azure Cognitive Services. You can take a look, you can check it out for yourself if you visit the link azure.microsoft.com/cognitive services. It will take you to this page. Now here, if you'll scroll down a little bit, you'll see all the APIs that are assigned associated with Azure Cognitive Services. Now you have decision, language, speech, vision, and web search. So this is basically a home page, and you can visit this page and you can check these services out for yourself. Now, first we'll start with vision. Now, before we get on with vision, there's a small fun activity that even you can try alongside me. If you'll go and hit the URL how-old.net, it will take you to this web page. Now, over here, what it does is it has some default images which you can use. Now, let me take this photo. This will analyze the photo, detect where the face is, and just as a hunch will get you the age as well. Now, the age and gender of the people in the photo are detected by the API itself. So you can see that we have a female of 25 years of age, we have a child of 2 years of age, and a man of 29 years of age. Now, how this exactly works is because of the face API. Now, you can try this yourself as well. You can upload your own photo. Let me try my own photo as well. Let's check. So you can see over here, not only did it recognize the faces of how many people were there in the photo, it also recognized the gender as well as age. Now, the age they are determining over here is fairly accurate. It's still working on the back end, but it is fairly accurate to say that this is the age of all the people. Now, let's get back to the homepage over here. Now, we'll start with the face API first. So over here, we have three basic features in the face API. One is face detection, face verification, and perceived emotion recognition. We'll take a look into this one by one. Now, there are two detection models over here. One is detection model number 2, and the other is 1. So what happens is in detection model number 1, it will give you all the attributes you have, all the facial data, now the color of the hair, eyebrows, makeup, and everything. So let's just first take this photo. You can see that this API detected the face and has mentioned the coordinates and the axis where the square has been created on their face. Now, you can check that in this rectangle over here, it is showing that she's not bald, which means her the confidence level is 0.1. Now, the confidence level plays an important role. How confident the API is, that's how it will show the data. Now, over here, you can check that for the hair color, it is showing that it is brown with a confidence of 0.99. It is black with a confidence of 0.57. So that is highly unlikely. Now, you can see there are more colors as well with more confidence scores, but since it found it to be more brown, it has shown that the color is brown. Now, apart from the hair color, you can see that she's smiling or not. Now, at a smile, the confidence score is 1, which means that she's smiling. It has successfully guessed the gender, the age, and was able to deduce if she has any facial hair, any beard or sideburns or not. Now, it also detects if you have any accessories on. So you can see it is showing that the glasses are reading glasses, which has been detected. There is an eye makeup that the female is wearing, as well as there's some lip makeup. Now, apart from that, there's also the emotions. Now you can see that since she's smiling, the happiness has reached to 1.0. Now, this is something that the API has reduced. Now, let us check another example, which is this one. Now, over here, you can see that it is giving a score of 0.06. Okay, probably because of the big forehead. but it is also showing that the hair color is supposed to be black with a confidence score of 1. That means it is 100% confident that the hair color is black. For brown, it is 0.95, 0.43, and so on and so forth. Now, over here also, you can see the smile is 1.0, which means that the API is confident that the person is smiling. It was able to reduce the gender, the age, the mustache as well, beard, sideburns, and also was able to deduce that there is no glasses and there's no eye makeup or lip makeup. Now, similarly, he was able to, he's smiling is something that API has deduced over here. Now, this is something that is done in face detection with most of the people, most of the companies using face detection, even your phone uses face detection to unlock. Now, that is something that is using this sort of API. Next is face verification. What happens in face verification is it takes two images and it tries to see if the person in the image is exactly the same or not. Now, it doesn't matter if your age is different in both the photos, it will be able to reduce that. Now, for example, over here, I believe there's some age difference over here, and the API was able to deduce that he's 0.93% confident that both the people in the images are same. Now, you can check for different examples as well over here, a different background, different contrast, different exposure. And even in that case scenarios, the API will be able to deduce whether or not the person is same or not. Now, you can try this yourself as well. And I strongly recommend that you try this to know the front end working of this. Now, let me just browse this and put my younger image. Now, I'm quite young in this. So you can see that the confidence is 0.09 over here, which means there's no way we are similar. It's quite obvious as well. Now, what if I put my recent image over here? Now you can see that the confidence is 0.83. The reason it is not 0.99 is because maybe the beard played its role and the API is unable to find the exact resemblance, but he was able to find out that the confidence is 0.83 and somewhat there's some resemblance in both the images. So this is something that face verification does over here. Now coming to the next part, which is perceived emotion recognition. Over here, what exactly the API does is first it will detect your face, and then it will detect what your expression indicates. Either you're angry, either you are disgust, fear, happy, sad, surprised, everything. So now in this image, you can see there are 4 people, and the API was able to deduce that there are 4 people and hence gave the data for 4 different rectangles. Now let's take a look at the first rectangle. It is showing the coordinates of the first rectangle is this one, and the attributes is happiness 1, which means the API is certain that the person in the image is smiling and is happy. Same goes for the second as well, 0.999 for third and fourth and so on. So the API was able to reduce this from the image. Now we can try to use a different image, let's say for this child. Now over here, you can see that happiness is shown as 0.196, but surprise is shown as to be 0.803. Now the child here is more surprised than happy. Maybe he's receiving a gift. Who can say? So that is something that the API can deduce over here. So I strongly recommend that you try this, and you can see that to do these experiments, this test, we haven't received any use any Azure subscription. These are all free to do, and you can check it for yourself. Now, another thing which we have also mentioned is that the data that you get over here are JSON interpretation. Now, these JSON data can be provided to any code. These are code friendly. You can give it to any Python code, Ruby, C#, Java as well. It will take it and will deduce the interpretation over here and will give you the data itself. So this is something that is there in the face recognition. Now, another thing that I would like to say here is that you can see the only thing it is detecting is the face, the attributes of a face. Now, what if we want the APIs to check for what is there in the background? Now, for that, we have a different service called as computer vision. So like I mentioned, there was a case which I just mentioned where a drone is flying across the border or over the cities. Now, you can actually use this API over there to get the desired output. Now, this is CCTV grab, a snapshot of a CCTV, wherein you can see that there's, now as a human, we can see there's a subway train going, there's a human who is a blurred, there's a child who is blurred. But in order to make an API understand this, it's a different thing. Make a program understand this. So you can check over here that the API was successfully able to deduce that there's a person here with a confidence score of 0.764. There is another person, and then there's a train over here, subway train with a score of 0.926. Now, apart from the tags, you can see there's a platform, there's a station, since it's indoors, the subway, it's indoor with a confidence of 0.9277. Now, these things were something that was analyzed by the API themselves. Now, let's take a different image. Let's take this one. So over here, you can check that there's a skateboard, which the API has detected. There's a person with a confidence of 0.95. He's skating. Now, here we can check that there's a skating over here with a confidence of 0.9995. There's also snowboarding, which is similar, but the confidence is 0.999, 0.99, sorry. So you can see that the API was able to deduce all the possibilities, and based on the confidence level that it detected, that there's maybe no ice here, so how can he be snowboarding? Sorry, it gave the skating more preference over here. Now to try this, let me upload another photo. Over here, you can see that this photo, the API was able to deduce that there's a tennis ball with a confidence of 0.69634. There is a golden retriever as well with the confidence score of 0.917. And apart from that, these are the objects that the API has deduced. Apart from that, the tags include grass, sky, outdoor, tree, and so on and so forth. So you can see that the API is able to deduce everything that is there in the image, and the API is able to analyze this as well. So in order to do so, you can use the computer vision API as well. Now, what if you want to train a model specifically based on its desired business need? Uh, so there we have another API, which is called as custom vision. Now, we don't have a demo for this one since it would take a lot of time, but you can contact me or Vikas and for any guidance that you require in deploying this API over there. So now so far we have seen that Phase and computer vision does not require Azure subscription, but custom vision does require one. You can always go to the URL customvision.ai, and here you will require your Azure subscription to deploy your first project, create one. Now, basically what happens in custom vision is you will have to give the custom API all the images, and this will help you in distinguishing between two similar objects. So let's say an apple and a peach. They aren't similar, but that's something that we know. But based on the shape and size, a computer will feel that, yeah, this is something that is similar. So you can use custom vision to deduce that, okay, these two are different. Now you can see over here, you have Pepsi can, you have Coca-Cola can. So you have to train the model depending upon the specificity. Like, okay, this is blue, this is a Pepsi can, this is red, and this is a Coca-Cola can. So that is something how you'll have to train a model, and you can have the custom vision present over there. You can try this for yourself, but you'll have to use the Azure subscription for that. Now coming to the next part, which is a form recognizer. Now, so far we have taken a look at images and images of dog, images of human being. But what if we have an image of a bill? What can we deduce from a bill? So next is form recognizer. Over here, let me take a smaller one. Let's see this one. So form recognizer is an important API in which if you have a hand copy of a bill, it can be OCR'd. Now you can see here that using the OCR technology, the bill is scanned and the data is shown on generated row-wise. You can use this to even pay the bills if there's a desired range. So let's say that your bill is around $1,000 over here and under. So if any of your bill is around $1,000 or below, you can automate it by just paying it. Like you can create an application where the moment you scan this bill, if it is less than $1,000, it will pay the bill. Apart from that, now the API will tell you whether everything the invoice has or the address over here after traversing through the entire bill. Now, with like I mentioned, with such small information, the data is small. You can also auto process it. Now we have, like if you have a company which has a bill submission system where you are asking the people to upload the form, then this API makes it a lot easier. Do you know most of the insurance companies does not pay for OPD, or there's always struggle in paying so. In OPD, the bill is about 300 and 500 rupees. So to process the criteria has to be checked. Now the criteria is that the bill should be genuine, it should not have passed a due date, and etc. etc. So the cost of processing it becomes more than the cost of reimbursement. Hence, the insurance companies do not pay for the OPD. This API is really helpful for the insurance companies that just scan all the data and help in the processing for the OPDs as well. Now, apart from form recognizer, this is just the printed text or typed text over here. But what if you have something which is more handwritten? Let's say you have to take down some notes, and while taking down some notes, you tend to doodle something. So what will happen if you want that to be type texted? Okay, so let me just show you this one. So this is free to try. You can try this alongside me as well. So let me just type here. Tough to type using the mouse. Sorry for that. So you can see I doodled over here in a more handwritten format the webinar, and it was able to deduce that yes, the text written over here is webinar. Now, apart from not just the doodling as well, if you're trying to draw some shapes, let's say a circle, not exactly a circle, but there's a triangle, there's a square, rectangle, or even this. Let's see what it analyzes. So you can see it was able to deduce that even this shape over here is a square, is a circle. Sorry. So you can see there's a small circle the API has created. This is a triangle. This is a rhombus type over here. We have an elongated rectangle. We have a square over here. So it was able to deduce these things over here. Now, let me remind you that this is in a preview mode. So there's still some work going on over here. So once it is completely available for generally, you'll be able to check it for yourself. Now you can check over here that if I draw a circle with spokes in it, it won't be able to deduce that because, like I mentioned, it is still in preview mode. So there's some work going on. So this is something that you can use to have your handwritten notes, the text over the computer. Now the best part about this is that no matter in which angle you write, it will always give you this in the same format. So that is something that the form recognizer is something good in, and it can be used in a lot of scenarios. Now, ink recognition can also recognize the languages as well. So if you're typing something in English or maybe in Japanese or Chinese or Roman, it will be able to deduce that. You can try this for yourself. This is free over here. You can just go to this URL and you can check it for yourself. Now, so far we have taken into consideration the static images, but what happens if we have a video? Now, Microsoft has taken into consideration the same uses as well. We have something called as a video indexer. Now, I have the demo ready. Just give me 1 minute, please. So video indexer is basically an API which is used. And let me give you the use case. So imagine you're watching a movie. Now you have it downloaded, but sometimes you want a specific scene from that movie. Let's say you want a scene wherein you want the actors to be fighting. Now you have two options. Either you'll have to remember the timestamp of that video, or you will have to rewatch the video again and again from the scratch. So what the video indexer does is it uploads the video, it indexes the entire video, and it will give you the details over here. Now, video indexer has a celebrity API as well on the backend, so it is able to detect which person is what celebrity. So you can see this has been by default. This hasn't been specified by us or anyone. So you can see the actors over here. Now you can also create a custom celebrity API on the backend, and you can upload your own video, and you'll have your own faces being shown in the portal over here. Now, the best part about Video Indexer, according to me, will be the subtitles over here. Now, whatever the actors or actresses are saying in this video, it will be converted into text format over here and will be shown. So if you want to check for this sentence, this subtitle, you just click on that, it will take you to that section. Now, let's say my world now over here. So you can go there and it will take you to this section. So that is something that is there in this Video Indexer. Apart from this, we also have insights, which means it takes a label of the entire video, what all things it has found. Now, so we have seen a cartoon. Now, if I click on cartoon over here, it will show where all the cartoon is present. So you can see it's showing fire cartoon, maybe it's CGI, something. Same way, if you search for fire as well, now since this fire, I'm searching for fire, it will show that there are two entities of fire. Now, let's say if I have a car, it's a Fast and Furious, we're bound to have cars over here. So it shows that we have different sections where we can find car. There's one car over here. There is another car on the back end. Behind, you can see over here, there are cars over here. Then there's another car over here. Then there is another car over here. So these things are something that the Video Indexer indexes and will let you know about the entire video. Now, Video Indexer also takes a scene snapshots. So if you want to check the moment somebody has jumped from a bridge, you can just click on this one and it will show that there's someone jumping. So even in a small snapshot, there are different snapshots taken by the Video Indexer itself. So Video Indexer also has a capability of 54 languages. So if your subtitles are in English and you want this to be in a different language, let's say Finnish, you can have the entire subtitles converted into that. Let's do that. You can check that the entire subtitles have gone to Finnish, have been converted over here. So these are something that has that the Video Indexer has a capability for. So let me remind you as well over here that for Video Indexer, you will require an Azure subscription as well. So amongst all the different Vision APIs that we had, only Custom Vision and Video Indexer required the Azure subscription. The rest are free for you to try. You can anytime visit this URL and check it for yourself. Vikas will take you from the decision over here, and he'll be explaining you more about the different APIs that are present in the Azure Cognitive Services.
Thank you, Akash. Now we'll talk about speech. I know where Akash left off. We'll take from there and we'll start about speech and the other decision and language API. Now let's talk about the speech API. So in the speech API, if you can see, there are multiple APIs in the speech as well. Now in the speech API, there's a speech to text and then the text to speech, and there's a speech translation and speaker recognition. So we'll start with the speech to text and see what this API can do for us. Now, with the main role of the speech to text API, whatever you say, it can convert into text, right? Now, the good part is there's a support for Indian regional languages as well. The major regional languages like Kannada, Tamil, Telugu, Gujarati, Hindi, right? So you can use these languages to convert any of your speech into text as well. So let's try a demo and see if it is working or not. Today we are attending a webinar. I hope everyone is doing great. So now if you see on the screen, whatever I spoke, you can see in the output on the screen. So this is what the API can do. Now let's try for a Hindi as well. Today we are attending a webinar. I hope everyone is doing great. Okay. So it did not translate the our text, but just written in the Hindi. So that's what it's not doing the translation, rather printing your language, the text, whatever you're saying in that specific language that you have chosen. So this is the speech to text. Now, similarly, if we go with the text to speech, it will do the same thing, right? Will translate anything that you type, will turn into speech. Now there's some other capabilities come with this text to speech API as well. So here you can change the pitch of your voice. You can change the style of your voice based on what kind of message that you are conveying. Right. You can also change the voices as well. There are 4 options, and again there's a support for Indian regional languages as well. There's support for only major regional languages, not for every local dialect. Right. Key to keep that in mind. Now let's try something here. If you can hear me. So this is the style of general. If you change to something, let's say cheerful, then again according to the style of your based on what are the style you've chosen, it will speak on that basis. So that's the text to speech. Now you can think of use case. There's any application that which translate or maybe do a maybe if you are building a learning app, doing a pronunciation check, you can use this API to verify and validate that. The next one is speech translate. It's purely about translating into a different language, right? You can define your source language in which language are you speaking, and in which language are you want to translate into, right? So that's what you can do. So let's try with the Hindi from English to Hindi. I hope everyone is doing great. Now, if you see on the screen the output, right, the translated English into Hindi. So this is a real-time translation, right? So you can build a solution which can do a translation real time, or if you maybe think of in a scenario where you're visiting a different country and that you does not understand their language and they don't understand your language. So you can use this service to say something into their language, and again you can do a vice versa. Right. So maybe if you going visiting a let's say if you want to turn into French, right, you can talk in English, it will translate into French in real time, and then it again do the vice versa. It can translate the French into English. So this is the speech translation. The next one is a speaker recognition. Now this use case of speaker recognition about to identify the match the existing voice within existing database, right? So you can think of like Alexa. You can take example of Alexa, Siri, or Google Assistant. So you can set up that they only should recognize your voice, not somebody else's voice, right? Similarly, you can do with the speaker recognition as well. You can generate you can do an audio capture and you can save in. Then somebody if is speaking the same person, then it will recognize the voice and can perform a certain operation based on that. Maybe unlocking a door, right? So that kind of scenario you can use the speaker recognition. Now let's move on to the next category. Let's move to the language. Right. So in the language, we'll talk about the immersive reader and text analytics specifically. The immersive reader is probably you're already using if you have used Edge browser or if you have used the reading mode. If you have used that, then this the immersive. That's the same immersive reader. Now you have the access of the API as well. So if you want to integrate the same capability into your application, you can do that as well. So let's take an example again of an immersive reader. So there's a text written here in the text box. Now, if I turn and use the immersive reader, this will turn into the reading mode, right? So if you have a ebook reading app or news app, you can use the immersive reading to remove all the clutter and just put the text in front of the screen. So that's the immersive reader. Now let's try the another text analytics. the purpose of text analytics to find the key phrases or maybe keywords from a speech and also find the tone of the sentences or paragraphs, right? So on the right hand side, if you can see it, I can see the multiple output of each sentence. Now the good part, even if you have a long paragraph, it will give you the output and the results of each sentence. So let's try something. Now, if you look at the screen, right, there's a sentence. Now, the sentence has a positive vibe, right? So I can see the sentiments of the sentence. Now it's also figured a key phrase for me. So as we go in this key sentence, there's no key phrase, but we let's and enjoying webinar. Okay, now you see the keyword key phrase in this sentence is a webinar. So that's what you can do. Now let's add one more sentence to see the results. We, Now for sentence two, if you look, there's a negativity and there's a neutral, right? While it's not a positive thing, right? Having an internet issue. So this is what it can do, it can analyze your text and can give you this sentiments of the text. It also can find you the key phrases. Now let's move the web search. Then we'll come to the decision API, right? So in the web search, these are all the Bing API. So if you already used Google or Bing, so Bing has the API. So if you want to use all the Bing capability into your application, you can use these Bing API. So be it a news API, you want to do a spell check, you want to do a search, you want to do an image search, you want to integrate all of these into your application so the user can get the information whatever they need at that time. You can do that. So let's go to the bing.com to find, see what Bing API can do for us. So whatever you can do here on the Bing, you can integrate and use these Bing API to do it within your application. Now let's search for something. And if you are looking for a users is looking for image search, they are looking for doing an image search. So if you can have this capability, and again in the Bing image search API, you have all of this capability. If someone is looking for a large size image, maybe looking for a yellow color lion, right? Or maybe you can change a clip art. So all of these can be integrated into your application as well. So this is what Bing API can do. Now let's talk about the decision API and what they can do. So in the decision API, we have three APIs again. There's one is an anomaly detector, there is a content moderator, and there's a personalizer. The first one is an anomaly detector. The purpose of using an anomaly detector to detect any anomaly in a specific pattern, right? Think of a use case where you're using credit card and the bank is using anomaly detector. Now suddenly there's an transaction in a credit card, right? So bank can detect that using anomaly detector because that's not a usual pattern, and it can send you an alert to you and bank as well to notify there's an fraudulent alert on your bank account, right? So this is the one use case of anomaly detector. Second is a content moderator. Now content moderator can detect the offensive or inappropriate content or language and words from its content text. Now you can use this in the comment section, or maybe if you have your own website, you can put there in the comment section. Role of personalizer to create the personalized experience for your application. So you can think of a YouTube. If you go to YouTube, it will show you all the recommended YouTube videos as well. Now, right. So that YouTube has creating a personalized experience based on your interest, right? Similarly, if you are building an any application, you can use the personalizer to build a similar set of experience for your application as well. Google is also using Facebook, Instagram. All of these are you creating a personalized experience for you based on your interest. You see ads and the content. These are the all the APIs in the cognitive service we talked about. Right now, let's see some use cases, real world use cases. Believe probably you heard about Uber. Is using the face API, facial recognition, to verify their drivers before they start their ride. This is to make sure that the only verified drivers are driving the car, not his or her cousin, because the verified driver or the driver who's supposed to be driving the car is ill or not able to drive the car. Right? This creates a safer and secure experience for the end customers. The next use case we have is a BMW. Again, BMW is using cognitive services to build its own voice assistant for its car and then media system. Right. So they are using bunch of speech API, using the speech API to build their own, and then also using personalizer to create their personalizer experience for each user. Now, this is all we have. Now, if you are looking to try all these APIs, these are few important links. I'll just hold for a few seconds on this slide so you can take snapshot or photos or if you want to make a note. You can go to these URLs to try these. There are some example codes already in the GitHub. You can download them and try. There's a client SDK if you are not if you do not want to use API. There's a client SDK for different platforms as well, and there's a documentation link which okay. Now let's switch to again Azure subscription and see how easy it is to create an API and then start using it. Right. So right now I'm in the Azure portal, and now if I want to create an Face API, if I want to use this, start using Face API. So what you have to do, go to portal.azure.com to Azure subscription, look for Face, and the first you see there's a Face API cognitive. You need to create the Face API. You need to just pass on few information. So I'll just pass all this information, the region you want to select, and give it a name to the service. And you can select the tier. So here you see there's a free tier and there's a standard tier. Most of the cognitive services has a free tier, so you can even start using them in your application even without paying anything. Right. So I'll just go with the free tier right now. Okay. Now it will take less than a minute to get the API up and running for us, and then we can start using uh, that API. Meanwhile, also I'll encourage you to, if you have any queries, please feel free to post in the Q&A section. Right, we'll be answering those queries at the end of the session. Now my API is ready, right? I can go there, and if I want to start using, what I have to go, I just need to use an API, I need an endpoint first, and if there's an access key, I need that key. So here's my endpoint, and here's my two keys. I can use any of these, and I can also regenerate them if I feel that these keys are compromised. I can regenerate them and use them again. And this is the endpoint that I have to call and start using the API. That's all I have to do to start any Azure Cognitive API. This webinar, it's on 1st of September. The link in the screen, you can again make a note and go and please register for the webinar as well. I would strongly recommend everyone to give us the feedback. The feedback URL on your screen right now, it's an ifi.tech/webinar feedback. I would encourage everyone to give us the feedback. It will help us to improve our further webinars. Also, you can follow us on different social media channels for more cloud updates. We do post and write for Azure regularly. You can go and check out there, and there are few amazing blogs on our website as well. So probably if you are looking, even if you are a beginner, you can go there and start exploring. Now I'll be moving into Q&A section. So if you have any queries now, please feel free to post in the Q&A section. So I hope everyone had a great time. I hope you learned something, right? I would encourage everyone to go and check out those links and try on your own. uh, if you have any concern, you can just reach out on the coordinates mentioned on the screen, right? And stay safe.
Thank you so much, everyone. Stay safe. Bye bye.